What is up, POW fam? Welcome to day 44 of Countdown to FIDE 100. My name is Paul Emmanuel Habaradas, aka Paul POW. Now, in this 1967, a game between Bobby Fischer and some Mongolian, I've heard, a Mongolian chess player named Lhamsuren Myagmarsuren. I hope I said that right. Yeah. That should work probably, but who would have thought about this? So now let's take a look at this game. 31 move game, but tons of variations. So fasten your seatbelts, as I'm just trying my best to make it 10 minutes. But maybe it will be 20 minutes. But would have thought? Okay. Now Bobby Fischer starts with e4. And Lhamsuren goes e6. And Bobby Fischer, however, was d3. I think it's a book move. Look at this. When I go d3, it's just green, but usually it's sometimes e5, sometimes knight f3, or sometimes it's d4. But d3 is probably a book move. D3, it was like something else. So yeah, I think it's a bit different, but if it's d4, d5, we're taking on the opening repertoire. So there you go. It seems fine as it is. Yeah. And then, oh gosh, oh never mind. I guess I'm gonna go castle, probably. Okay. It was an opening. And Lhamsuren continues with d5 and then knight d2. Okay, it's a bit fine, but yeah, I can say better is queen e2, c5, g3, knight c6, bishop g2, knight d4, queen d1, bishop e7, knight h3, and knight c6. I think it's a bit unnecessary to do knight to d4, because how about if he goes on, instead of bishop g2, he goes to try here, and he cannot go here because it's gonna take. Yeah. So going back with knight d2, there's knight f6. But after c5, g3, knight c6, f4, knight f6, knight gf3, bishop e7, bishop g2, queen c7, castles. Our position is still equal. What should it work? I feel it's gonna rain. I feel it. There's tons of variations. I can say c4, and then takes, something like that. Maybe. Okay, we're still at move 4. If you're wondering, g3 for Bobby Fischer. But the better one is e5, knight fd7, f4, c5, knight gf3, knight c6, knight b3, b5, c3, b4, bishop e3. I'm pretty sure it's gonna rain. Yep, it's raining. Where it's just piecing around stuff. Now it's just, yeah. So I can see that. What else? Bishop e7. And I'm gonna go ready for castles. Something like that. Okay, g3. c5. How are there so many variations? What is this? Okay, another, if it's d takes c4, d takes c4, knight c6, c3, e5, knight gf3, a5. Oh, a6, that's a6, that's a5, bishop b5, and bishop d6. I guess it's a bit fine, but why didn't it do like this and then tries castle? Okay, that's interesting. Going back to c5, bishop g2. Okay, but better one is knight gf3, bishop e7, bishop g2, knight c6, castles, rook e1, rook e8, c3, b6, and yes, the position still remains equal after all. It seems fine then. Yeah. Back to bishop g2. There's knight c6, it's still remains equal after bishop e7, knight h3, castles, knight c6, knight f4, b6, e takes, and yeah, it's a bit fine after all, but maybe c4 could do the trick. He's gonna try to take it and bishop, and tries to threaten the rook. Back to knight c6. How are they so many? Knight gf3, bishop e7, castles, e5. Okay? But I think it's not, it's a bit fine, but rook e1 I think is a book move. h6, b3, queen c7, a4, rook e8, bishop b2, d4, e5, knight d5, and knight c4. Makes the position equal for both for the game. And I guess knight c3 cannot take it. That would be not good, so queen c1. Okay, so e5 and a knight d7. Here Lhamsuren has a slight advantage. I guess he has this to threaten. And then rook e1, b5. Okay, so starting to develop, but what if queen c7, knight b3, b6, bishop f4, rook d8, h4, a5, a4, h6. So it's a bit, we're on the middle game right now, and knight bd2. I guess I can say something like here. Yeah. Back to b5, knight f1, and Lhamsuren started to be in trouble with b4. I don't know why, but there's stuff happening here. If it's bishop b7, h4, a5, knight 1, h2, a4, a3, queen c7, knight g4, rook f, c8, h5. Yeah, it's a bit fine. Black's position will be in a slight advantage since then, but I can probably go c4 here and destroy the pawn chain or something. Yeah. Okay, back to b4, h4. Now the position is equal. a5, bishop f4. This might be deserving to end up in a draw. But a better one is h5, h6, knight 1, h2, rook b8, knight g4, bishop a6, a3, b takes b3, queen c7. And I can say probably takes it to start taking over on this, and then probably here I can say about that. Yeah, we still have tons of it. So after a4 and then a3, b takes, and Lhamsuren again goes with knight a5, a mistake. Yeah, you can go rook b8 in the variation, and then knight e3 to start taking over all of this stuff. Nope. Something like it's a searchlight, but no. So knight d4, c4, d takes, knight b3, rook b1, and bishop b7. Okay, I think it's good at all, but I guess you can go knight fd2. Back to knight a5. There's knight e3, and Lhamsuren another one, bishop a6, mistaken again. Yeah, you can go rook a7, and then rook b1, rook b7, queen e2, rook takes h6, c4, d takes c4, and here the position may still remain equal, but you can go on here, and then what else? This knight can go on b3, knight here, takes, and maybe it go for a trick. Okay, it's not yet done. I wish we have enough, but we don't have enough. However, Lhamsuren mistaken again with bishop h. Bobby Fischer made a mistake with bishop h3. Knight g5 instead, and then go knight c6, queen h5, bishop h, rook a7, knight g4, king h8, c4, and knight to d4. And white's position will be better in this position. So we're now midway. That's probably good. So let's continue. There's d4, but the better one is bishop b7, rook b1, rook a6, h5 d4, knight g4, rook b6. What? Oh, rook a6, not... Okay. And then h5 d4, knight g4, rook b6, queen e2, h6, and bishop g2. So the position will go for an equal one. Interesting. No, he cannot take it. So probably that's gonna take something like that. Back to d4. Bobby Fischer, another one, made a mistake with knight f1. I don't know why, but there's good things right here. I think knight g2. But the variation mentions that it's knight g4, bishop b7, bishop g2, rook a6, h5 h6, knight takes g takes, bishop takes h6, f5, and the position will go equal. He cannot go en passant because there's a free. I don't know why, but if he can go here. What else? What are good ones? Knight d2. What else? There's so many tons of variations, but f5. And you can go en passant, bishop, maybe like that. Back to knight f1. There's knight b6, but the better one is bishop b7, knight 1 d2, rook c8, bishop g2, bishop to d5, knight to e4, knight c6, knight e6, rook b8, and black's position will be in a slight advantage since then. That could work. Back to knight b6, there's knight g5 and knight d5. Okay, that could work as well, but the better one is bishop b7, knight d2, h6, knight takes, king takes, bishop takes, king takes, and queen g4. Oh my gosh, that's a ton of sacrificial stuff. What is his plan? He takes it, he goes to king. If it's not good for rook because it's gonna be a pin, which is awful horrible. So king takes bishop, queen g4. Okay. Back to knight d5. There's bishop d2. But the better one is queen h5. Bishop, queen e8, queen g4, king h8, knight d2, knight c6, knight c4, and rook b8. Okay. Now white's position is getting at a slight advantage at least, but he can go queen here, and then the good only one is right here, and then knight, something like that. Back to bishop d2. There's the exchange and queen d7. Okay, that could work. So what queen c7 can do the trick, and then queen h5, knight c6, bishop g2, knight takes, bishop takes, e takes, bishop f4, no, not h6, f6. And the position may remain equal after all. Okay, we're about to finish this. So queen h5 continues. But the better one is queen d2 as it says. And then queen c7, knight h2, c4, knight g4, c3, queen e2, knight b3. I don't know why he's sacrificed, but let me just... Oh, maybe it's a pass pawn. Maybe it's a pass pawn if he takes it. That's crazy. So he sacrificed the knight. However, with this rook a b1 and knight d2, he ignores the free knight because I know it's gonna be pass pawn, but it says it goes takes, and let's find out what did the engine says. What are the threats? I think there are no threats in maybe then, but I wonder what could be the threat. I can say pawn, but it's black's turn since. Okay, queen h5. There's rook fc8, but the better one instead it's bishop b7, rook a b1, c4, bishop g2, c takes, knight b3, bishop f6, rook a5, and white's position could have been in a slight advantage, but yeah, I guess gonna take it. But if he takes it, there we, and if he goes to take it, check, king check. Okay. That could work. Alright. Okay, rook f c8, there's knight to d2. Now white's position is in a slight advantage, but it's a bit in a slight advantage after knight h2, queen e8, bishop g2, f5, the exchange, bishop e, and knight f3. Okay. Seems interesting after all. But with knight d2, there's knight c3 for Lhamsuren, but the better one is c4. Bishop f6. Yeah, if he takes it, it's gonna be over with this. You know, that's the pattern. He sacrificed. And then queen e8. Queen e8. D takes, bishop takes. And then knight e4, queen f8. Bishop g5 and d3. Okay, so it still remain equal, that it would be drawish. Maybe bishop takes somewhere like that. Back to knight c3, there's bishop f6, queen e8, that's a lot of... Queen e8, knight e4, and Lhamsuren. I think he blundered. I think Lhamsuren blundered with g6. I don't know why, but I think that's a blunder because he's going to queen here and then queen f8. Something like that. But the better one, but it could have saved it. This one, queen g5, king f8, knight d6, queen d7, queen h6, king g8, and white's position will be in a slight advantage. But this g6 mistake, there's queen g5. I think it's definitely a blunder. Now it's white winning. Bobby Fischer is winning. So knight takes, rook takes, c4, h5, c takes, rook h4, and rook a7. Another mistake. What is going on to Lhamsuren, Myagmarsuren? Like, you can go rook c7, queen h6, queen f8, queen d2. Wow, trying to go for this, but he just tries to goes with no, rook c6 rather. Queen takes c5, queen takes a5, d takes c2, rook d1 and d3. Okay, it's a bit interesting right now. Alright, with this rook a7 blunders, bishop g2, it's already officially winning. But I think it's a mate in 12 after bishop g4. I'm not like d takes c2, rook c1, bishop e2, queen h6, queen f8, queen takes, and yeah, it's winning. If he takes it here, he goes to bishop. No more choice for black. Probably bishop here. Oh, it's checkmate. No matter what, if he goes here, it's checkmate still. Back to bishop g2. D takes c2, queen h6, and queen f8. It's a mate in 6 after after c1 to queen. What else? Rook takes, king h2, rook h1, and bishop takes h1. It's over. Probably it's gonna be over. If he goes queen f8, he's gonna sacrifice. Probably he's gonna go here, king, checkmate. So this sacrificing the queen, Lhamsuren resigned because you know the drill. Takes that I showed you earlier. That's the checkmate. Wow, that is crazy. No way. Wow. With tons of variations, it was ended with a queen sacrifice by Bobby Fischer. Alright, that should be it for day 44. Thank you so much for watching, POW fam. Be sure to subscribe and become a Patreon member at patreon.com/Paul POW. Also, subscribe to my vlog channel, POW Vlogs. Follow me on Twitch, Paul Habaradas, X, Paul Habaradas, TikTok, Paul Habaradas, Instagram, Paul POW YT, Threads, Paul POW YT, Facebook, Paul POW YT, and also join the Discord community. And when you buy any plan, don't forget to click the link in the description to get 20% off when you get 20% off. But yeah, that should be it for today. I'll see you tomorrow in the year 1968 countdown to FIDE 100.